Hey everyone, so today we're going to be working on our expanded form and for decimals. So we've been working on standard and word. Today we're going to add expanded to our list. So you will need your math notebook out in order to take the notes as we discuss them. So if you need to, pause the video, go get your math notebook. If you're ready to go, let's just keep going. All right, so in your table of contents, I'm just going to leave it the same. We're still working with standard, expanded, and word form with decimals, so no need to put that ending page on there just yet. All right. I do need you to put a title and date on the top of your next page. So we're just going to call this SEW decimals, and today's date is the 24th. If this is not your date that you're watching this video, then you put whatever date you're watching the video on. Go ahead and pause while you take care of that. All right. I also want you to go ahead and add a key up there. That way we don't have to keep, as we do these problems, we're going to do about 4 problems today. And instead of writing standard, word, expanded form 4 different times, up here at the very, very top, if you could just write S stands for standard, W stands for word form, and E stands for expanded form. That way, just in case your brain forgets later, you'll have this key to go back and remember. And you're like, I can't remember what S is or what does E mean? What does E mean? So you can always look up here. So pause the video. I'd like for you to write this right here. And then I also want you to write the words, let's review 585. Okay, so go ahead and pause while you get that down in your notebook. All right, so let's review 585. So before we even talk about whole numbers, let's just go right over here and remember how to do whole numbers. All right, so I'm going to write the number 585. So if I write that in standard form, do I need to make any changes? No, right? Because it's already written in standard form. The way we write our numbers is standard form. Same way you've been writing them all your life, just the normal way of writing numbers, standard form. So there's our standard form, just right there in numbers. Word form. How do you read this? 585. And that's exactly what you write using words. So expanded form is the one we were looking at. So we learned, you knew a way that you used to know how to do this. And you did this in elementary school. I'm going to just write an E for expanded here. You did 500 plus 80 plus 5, correct? We're just going to expand that out. We did this last time. So we're going to take that 500, and since that 5 is in the hundreds place, you're going to write 5 times 100. And I'm going to use the asterisk this time as multiplication because I know we're trying to not use the X as much. And I'm afraid if we use the dot for multiplication, it will look a little bit like a decimal. So for now, I'm just going to use kind of the asterisk to help know that it's multiplied. It's also the same as saying 5 times 100. Either way you do it is really okay. All right. Plus, all right, we have an 8 in the 10 spot. So 8 times 10 plus 5 in the ones. So 5 times 1. All right. So this is our new way that we just learned how to do this. Okay, so this is the way we're going to be using to write our decimals. So let's stop for a second and get this in our notebook. So let me go back to our notes, present, and there you go. Go ahead and pause the video while you write that at the top, and it should look just like mine. Okay. All right, so if you have unpaused this video, you are ready to go for the next one. All right, so let's go ahead and go back to my little drawing here. I'm going to get a new document just because it's easier to keep writing on it. All right, so we're going to do this number right here. All right, so think about that one for a minute. Out loud, wherever you are at, read that number for me. If you said 13 hundredths, then you are in great shape because it's exactly right. So we read it as 13, and then we say the last value spot, so 13 hundredths. Okay, so let's write this in standard form. It's already done. We've used the numbers. It's ready to go. Word form, how do you read this? 13/100th, and that's what you write in Word. The only thing new is we're going to work with expanded form. Now I'm going to show you two ways of doing this. Some of you are using like the decimal way, and then some of you are using it as a fraction. So I'm going to show you both, okay? So the decimal way of writing this number in expanded form. So let me erase this little line here because I don't want to get that confusing anybody. All right, so we currently have a 1 in the tenths place. So we simply say 1 times 1/10 because we have a 1 in the 1/10ths place, in the tenths place. Plus, we have a 3 in the hundredths place, hundredths. So we would write 3 plus, and we would put, I'm sorry, excuse me, that is not correct. 3 times 1/100th because that is in the hundredths place. And that's it. So that's how you would do it as a decimal. So you're just taking the digit and multiplying it by whatever place that you have it in. For example, the 10th or the 100th place. Some of you are liking the fraction version better. So I'm going to show you the fraction version. Sometimes it makes more sense to write it as a fraction. Now, either way works. You do what you like and whatever makes your heart sing with joy. Okay? So I'm going to go back in fraction form. This 1 is in the 10th place. So I could say 1 times 1/10 plus. The 3 is in the hundredths place. So 3 times 1/100th. Okay. So whichever way you write, and there's no more digits, so I don't have to do any more. Now I could pick up that 0 and say 0 times 1 or 0 times 1, both of those, but you don't have to because it's 0. But it's up to you. So decimal version and fraction version. You're going to look at this and you're going to decide which one is probably going to be easier for you to do, and that is the one that you're going to add. That's the one that you'll be using most of the time. So let's pause for a second and go back and add this into our notebook. All right, so let me present this and move that. There you go. So go ahead and pause and add that in your notebook. All right, so we're back, and hopefully you wrote down both ways. You wrote everything that's in here on this notebook. So you wrote down standard form, word form, and expanded in both decimal and fractions. I need you to be able to recognize that it could be written either way. Okay. All right, let's do another one. Go back to my little drawing here. Let's get a new one. And this time we're going to do this number right here. Okay. I'm going to pause for a second, let you read that number out loud to yourself wherever you're at. Okay, so you should have been able to read 2 and 643 thousandths because it ends in the thousands place. If you did, give yourself a pat on the back because you rock. If you didn't, figure out what you did wrong and then try to read it again. All right, so standard form, done, already written. There's the standard form. Word form, read it one more time out loud. Okay, you can also read it with me. 2 and 643 thousandths. Okay, remember that's all you write for words, just like that. Nothing changes. Expanded form, I'm going to just kind of write DEC for decimal because I'm writing with my finger on the screen. It's a little bit easier to do that. And then we'll do fraction. Okay, so decimal version, here we go. So we have a 2 in the ones place. So 2 times 1 plus we have a 6 in the tenths place. So 6 times 1/10. We're putting that 1 in the 10th spot. Plus, okay, we got the 4 there in the 100th spot. So 4 times 100th. Plus, the 3 is in the thousandth spot. So 3 times 1,000. So we have to put that 1 in the thousand spot. All right. Think about that. See if that makes sense to you. And then we'll do it as a fraction. So look over that. See if that makes sense. All right. So fraction, I'm going to go ahead and erase this just because I don't have a lot of room here. So fraction, stop doing that. It's crazy. It just wants to keep adding that over there. All right. So fraction. All right. So fraction 2 in the ones place. So 2 times 1. That's the same. Remember, whole numbers are just like we've always done. Plus, okay, we're back to the 6. Let me change color so you can see my lines better. All right, so 6. Okay, so that is the same as saying 6 times 1/10 because it's in the 10th spot. Plus, okay, 4 is in the 100th spot, so 4 times 1/100th. Plus, the last one, the 3 is in the 1,000th spot, so 3 times 1,000th. And that's it. Now remember, as long as you can do one of these two ways, you're in good shape. Doesn't matter which one. You just need to be able to recognize both and be able to do one of these ways on your own. All right, so let's go back and add this to our notebook. All right, so let me pause this. We've already done that one. And let's go ahead and add this next one. I just realized it says that you can't see that fraction piece, so I'm not sure how to, let me see if I can raise that up a little bit. Because I could realize that was showing the screen sharing part. There you go. All right, so now you can see that bottom. So I'll pause the video and go ahead and add that to your notebook. All right, now it is your turn to see what you can do. So on the back, so on the next page of your notes, because you're probably about out of room because I ran out of room there, I want you to add 3. Oh, I better not read it because that will give it away. So write this number down and write it in standard word and expanded form. See what you can do. Just try it out. And if you mess up, that's okay. At least try. Okay. And then we'll fix whatever mistake that you made. And if you got it right, sweet. But at least try it. Pause the video. Standard word, expanded form. Either decimal or fraction. You do not have to add both. Okay. So if you have unpaused, you are back and you are ready to go with this. All right. So there's our number. Standard form, same thing. 3 and 549 thousandths. If you need to make any changes, always just pause, make the changes in your notebook, and then come back. All right, here's the next one. Word form, 3 and 549 thousandths. Hopefully you got those two right for sure. All right, and the last one, expanded form, decimal style. We have a 3 in the ones place, so 3 times 1. We have a 5 in the tenths place, so 5 times 1/10. 4 in the hundredth spot, so 4 times 1/100th. 9 in the thousandth spot, so 9 times 1,000. If you wrote it as a fraction, you wrote this version. 3 times 1, 3 in the 1 spot. 5 in the tenth, so 5 times 1/10. 4 in the hundredth, so 4 times 100. And 9 in the thousand, so 9 times 1,000. If you missed any of that, pause this and get that done before you move on. All right, that is it for today. Tomorrow, when we get this, or when you get back to class, I'm going to give you a worksheet and we're going to go over this. We'll work in small groups, and you can also work on the worksheets and try these skills out. All right, I will see you soon. Reach out to me if you have any questions.